Hello there, I'm Barry Robinson for Brill Voice TV. Now here we are down Seymour Road in Scarborough, and there's quite a few policemen about. So I'm just going to go over to our very own Richard Hammond, local guy, the real Richard Hammond.
Hello, Barry.
It's really good to see you, Richard. I'm fine, thank you. Now, what a great piece of kit, this lovely car, and a fantastic jacket and everything.
Thank you very much.
And we're down here on Seymour Road. What exactly are you doing today?
Well, we're doing a static drink drive check. So we're trying to get the message home, drive safely on the roads and don't drink and drive. So
that's a very good message. Don't drink and drive.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So what we're doing is we're randomly stopping vehicles for a safety check. We're also doing speed checks on the road. Anybody exceeding the speed limit will be pulled over. We'll speak to the driver. If we detect alcohol on the breath or they commit a moving traffic offence, then we'll do a breath test.
Because where we are on Seymour Road, it is a 30-mile-an-hour limit.
It is.
And when I say 30-mile-an-hour limit, that is the maximum. It doesn't mean to say you have to travel at 30 miles an hour.
That's correct, yeah. That's correct. And this part of the road here is quite a fast stretch. We do carry out checks here fairly regularly and detect numerous offences. So the message is slow down, be safe on the roads, drive safely.
Do you get many people really going faster than 30 miles an hour, like doing maybe 50 or 60 miles an hour?
Yeah, we do. We get quite a lot. I mean, personally, I do checks on this road regularly. And regularly I detect speeds of between 50 and 60 miles an hour. More commonly it's between 30 and 40. Or just over 40, but we do get occasionally the 50 to 60 miles an hour and in excess of that.
So what happens to somebody, say they've been a sensible driver all their life and they find that they're maybe doing 35, 36 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour limit. Would you automatically prosecute them? No, not automatically. I mean, there's three courses of action we can take. Obviously, you could issue a fixed penalty ticket for the offence, which is one option, and that would be for probably a greater speed, but just over the speed limit we can consider the speed awareness scheme, and it's an educational programme which we run in North Yorkshire, where we get people into a classroom. They're invited to attend and they go through scenarios in the classroom, learn about road safety, and it's about improving safety on the roads. They then go out at the other end, they're aware of the offence that they've committed, the implications of that, and hopefully they're a safer driver on the roads. What a very good idea, because it all refreshes all the grey matter, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, if they passed the test maybe 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, I suppose you might become a bit lax in your driving. Yeah. Oh, you know, I've been doing it for years, I know better, and this, that and the other. Yeah. You know, but a good refreshing course, that's brilliant.
Yeah. The third course of action is a report for summons straight to court, and that's for you know, obviously at high speed.
And what happens in court?
Well, I mean, you know, it goes before the magistrates, the case will be heard. If they're found guilty, potentially for a high speed they could lose the licence on the spot at court. More commonly it's several points and a high fine.
So the message is, be sensible, do not drink and drive.
Absolutely, do not drink and drive on the roads of North Yorkshire or any roads in the country. You know, it's a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, the car is a lethal weapon.
Absolutely, it causes a lot of collisions on the roads of North Yorkshire, so do not drink and drive.
In your hand, young man, you have got a breathalyzer. And you're going to show me what to do with one of these.
I can do, yeah. This is a Draeger device which is Home Office approved, and this is the device that we use at the roadside to test for drink drivers.
Okay, so let's pretend you've pulled me over because I was driving erratically, and you suspect I've been having a lot to drink, maybe the night before. Okay, so what happens next?
What would happen next is I've pointed out the offence, I've smelt alcohol on your breath, I suspect that you've been drinking and driving, so I would ask you to blow through this device until I tell you to stop. If you fail to do that, you may be arrested.
Right. Okay, so I just blow?
Just blow into it until I tell you to stop. Nice deep breath, blow evenly and naturally. Okay, stop. So
well, that wasn't too bad.
Analysing the sample of breath that you've blown into it, you can see it's displaying the weight sign there, so we'll just wait and it's come back 0.
Oh, that's good. I haven't been drinking.
You haven't been drinking.
Wow.
Had you been over the limit, you would have been arrested now and taken into custody and provided a further sample at the police station, which is the evidential sample.
Richard, Traffic Sergeant Richard Parsons, do you get a lot of people refusing to blow into one of these?
No, we don't get a great deal of people refusing to blow. Occasionally we get people who try and not blow properly in an attempt to fool the system. The machine itself is quite foolproof. If they don't provide a proper sample, it will tell us that, and we'll have to go back to the beginning, or they would be arrested there and then for failing to provide a proper sample.
What about, though, say somebody's been taking illegal drugs and they blow into that, so that won't register the drugs, will it?
No, the machine itself is purely for detecting alcohol, but you're quite right, taking illegal drugs is quite a problem at the moment, and we are arresting a number of drivers for committing offences around having drugs in the body and not being able to drive properly. Now, the system that we use for that is a little bit more complicated than the breath test machine. They carried out a series of tests by the roadside, and if we believe that they're not capable of driving, they would then be arrested. And once back at the police station, would have to provide a sample of either blood or urine, which would be sent off to a laboratory for analysis.
And a doctor would come and take the blood?
It would be a medical practitioner, yes, that comes and takes the blood, yes.
Yeah. And of course, the message is do not drink and drive, and do not take drugs and drive. Absolutely.
I think what a driver needs to remember is if they don't care about themselves, they really should consider other people. Accidents are nasty things to be involved with, and far too many of our members of the public are either being seriously injured or are being killed on the road. And if drink or drugs is a factor in that, then the offending driver would, one would expect, face a lengthy spell in prison.
Back to you, Richard. Do you find that, say, you've pulled a driver up and he gets abusive, what happens then? Do you have to call for backup, or can you arrest him on the spot? What happens?
Well, basically, if a driver becomes abusive and they're swearing at police officers, then we do have an offence of under Section 5 of the Public Order Act, especially if there's members of the public walking past. They may feel threatened by that conduct, that attitude. They may feel harassed or disturbed, and if that's the case, then we would arrest the driver on the spot. We will not tolerate antisocial behaviour.
And too right too. Do you phone people up? Do you get on your radio and get your mates to come out? And
yeah, I mean, just before you arrived, I had a driver who I just pulled in for a safety check. He was exceeding the speed limit slightly as well, so I pulled in to advise him about that, and he became verbally abusive. He told me to go away in uncertain terms, and became aggressive. So I spoke to him, calmed him down, and then dealt with the offences that I found. And in the process of that, I called for backup and got 3 more police officers down here. I mean, obviously there's potential for him to become violent. You've got to consider that.
I'm out and about in Scarborough, down Seymour Road. Lovely sunny day in Scarborough with me old mate, Traffic Sergeant Richard Parsons. Now, Richard, explain about this beautiful yellow, bright yellow vest.
Oh, Barry, this is it's a piece of safety equipment that we wear. It's very important when we're working on the roads that we're highly visible, and therefore this is made of the right material so that the motorist can see us. And you'll see here the reflective material, so if it's a night time, the yellow doesn't stand out as much, but headlights should pick out the reflective material.
Yep. And of course you've got your little plastic holders for your radios and things here as well, which is obvious.
Yeah, just so the radio is somewhere close so that we can use it, and I've also got an earpiece in so that I can hear what's going on at all times.
Okay, so what's in the pockets?
Well, you can see here that we carry the extendable baton, the ASP, which is a piece of safety equipment for us if we're dealing with violent members of the public.
Well, get it out, let's see what you do with it. By that I mean you haven't to hit me with it.
Absolutely. That's it, and you can see it folds away quite nicely.
Oh yeah, it's got a good grip.
Yeah,
grip. That's a good steady grip.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then if it needs to be extended, it's really just a flick of the wrist.
Wow.
And it extends.
And that's metal. Yeah. I wouldn't like to be hit with that.
No, I don't think anybody would like to be hit with it. I certainly wouldn't. No. And that only ever comes out in really extreme circumstances. It's not something that we would use on a daily basis, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, so that's your truncheon thing. Right, what about the other pockets?
Well, this really is just a pocket for carrying bits and pieces in. I carry a little bit of a medical bag in here, which has got 1 or 2 bits and pieces in, including a face mask in case we have to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, that kind of a thing. But it's a very small piece of medical equipment and pens and the like.
So I would think you've got to learn first aid.
Oh yes, we do a first aid course every year, and we have to keep on top of the latest techniques in the event of that being used. Okay, handcuffs? Yeah, handcuffs. These are the new, well, not so new now, but the rigid handcuffs.
Oh yes, they've got the plastic grip, yes, so you can actually bend them, can't you? And I have actually worn those before, because a long time ago when I was on FM radio, I did something with the Scarborough Police, and they put some handcuffs on me, and one of the policemen bent my wrists around like that. Oh gosh, it does hurt.
Yeah, hopefully that was just to show what these cuffs are capable of, because we wouldn't at all try and do that on a member of the public, because it would be very easy to break somebody's wrist. So it's quite important that if the handcuffs are on, that the person is just led by the handcuffs.
No, he was only just demonstrating to me.
Demonstrating what can happen and how painful it can be. Yeah, they're a really good piece of kit, but very important that they're used properly, otherwise somebody could get very badly hurt.
Yeah.
So that's the rigid handcuffs.
Yeah.
Other than that, really the only other piece of equipment that we carry on this reflective safety vest is the Parva, which is a gas, or it expels like a gas. It's actually a powder, but it expels as a gas and will incapacitate somebody within a very few seconds. But again, only under very extreme circumstances, if we're dealing with a very violent member of the public.
You haven't got a taser?
No, I don't carry a taser. Some of our officers carry a taser, and they have to be specifically trained, and I'm not trained to use that particular device.
I would hate to have one of those shot at me. God, it must hurt.
Yeah, I would as well. I've not actually been shot with one, but I've seen both on video and demonstration-wise somebody who has, and it really does incapacitate people very, very quickly. It's almost instantaneous.
Yeah. What a magnificent vest you've got. But what about armed police officers? In America, of course, and other countries, policemen carry guns, but of course we, thank goodness, we don't carry guns. What's your view on that?
Well, personally, I don't want to carry a gun, and I think it'd be a very sad day when every police officer in this country does carry a gun. Obviously, within each police force there is an armed capability, and if there is a need for armed officers to deal with a particular incident, then they'll be called upon to do so.
Of course,
they don't carry the weapons overtly, only when it is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, because the guns are locked up inside the police car, aren't they?
Yes, they're kept locked and they're kept very secure, and only brought out when needed.
Well, once again, thank you very much indeed for keeping everybody safe and sound in the Scarborough area.
You're welcome. Thank you, Barry.
I'm Barry Robinson for Brill Voice TV.
It can take 8 hours to a minimum of 8 hours, and some cases even more than that, to work out of the system. So maybe they finished drinking at 2 o'clock this morning, and they've still got alcohol in the body from the night before, and they could well be over the prescribed limits.
So when you give drivers a breath test, they've got to blow into something, haven't they?
Yeah, they blow into a little breathalyzer machine, and that will give an accurate reading by the roadside of the amount of alcohol that is within the system. If that shows that they potentially are over the prescribed limits, they would then be taken to the police station and given another breath test on an evidential machine, which would give us an accurate reading of exactly where they are.
So how much alcohol should somebody drink to remain safe in the legal limit?
There is no definitive limit on the amount of alcohol you can drink. It affects different people in different ways. The only accurate guide that you can possibly have is just don't drink anything.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. With some people, a small amount of alcohol might leave them under the prescribed limit, but could well affect their ability to drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink.